No, this is incorrect. Cow's milk contains much more calcium than sesame seeds. Hi, this is Marina from Health Gloves, a certified healthy diet and healthy lifestyle coach. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to analyze statements given by some authority, for example, a nutritionist. The other day, I attended a panel about a plant-based diet, and at this panel, the organizers presented some basics about the plant-based diet in a very fair and impartial manner. One of the organizers is a nutritionist who works at an institute of science. And she presented some common fears about the plant-based diet and solutions for overcoming those fears. Unfortunately, her presentation was riddled with some general misunderstanding about nutrition and a lot of misinformation. With this video, I don't want to criticize this nutritionist because she, I believe so, has done her job in a very proper manner. However, she based her presentation on the teachings that have lots of room for updating and upgrading in accordance to some fresh objective science. So let's now analyze her statements and see what's wrong with them. The statement number one was, sesame seeds contain more calcium than cow's milk. No, this is incorrect. Cow's milk contains much more calcium than sesame seeds. My guess is that the nutritionist came to these wrong numbers by comparing the same weight of sesame seeds and cow's milk, which is a typical misunderstanding of nutrition. It is known that the body doesn't assimilate grams or weight from food, it rather assimilates calories. So in order to compare nutritional profiles of two different foods, we have to compare the same caloric values of two different foods. For example, a cup of cow's milk contains around 150 calories, which contain around 275 milligrams of calcium. Those 150 calories are contained in only 25 grams of sesame seeds, and those 25 grams of sesame seeds contain mere 15 milligrams of calcium. The nutritionist gave this statement in her best intention to give people a reassurance that they don't have to drink cow's milk in order to obtain their calcium, and that they can obtain their calcium from plant sources. However, she started from a wrong premise, and thus she came to a wrong conclusion. She started from a premise that we need lots of calcium, that we need as much calcium as a calf, which is wrong. The real argument is we don't need more calcium than there is in our natural food, and what is even more important to understand, we don't need more calcium than our bodies are capable of extracting from our natural food. Secondly, we don't need as much calcium as a cow's baby. Cow's baby becomes 10 times bigger after the first year of their life, and that's why they need perfect food for supporting that rapid growth, and that food would be cow's milk, which is rich in calcium and protein. On the other hand, a human baby becomes only 3 times bigger after the first year of life, and the accent is on brain development, which is why the perfect food for a human baby is human breast milk, which is rich in magnesium for the brain development and has much less calcium and protein than cow's milk. Moreover, it is important to understand that it is not the point to take in as much calcium as possible, but rather to preserve calcium that is already in our bones, already in our bodies. And that can be simply done by limiting or excluding all the proteins that have amino acids that are linked to acidic minerals, because those proteins leave acidic ash of metabolism in our bodies, and then the body has to remove that acidic ash by using alkaline minerals, and that is calcium. So we don't need as much calcium as cow's baby. We don't need more calcium than our bodies can extract from our natural food, and we need to actually save calcium by not consuming proteins that are rich in amino acids that are linked to acidic minerals, and those proteins are found in meat, milk, and grain products. Let's move on. There is no need to be afraid of insufficient protein intake on a plant-based diet because a plant-based diet provides the same kind of proteins like a meat-based diet. No, this is absolutely incorrect. Plant tissue is different than animal tissue, and thus it consists of different kinds of proteins. So there is no way that we can get animal proteins from a plant-based diet. And that is actually what is good about this diet, because it has been shown through various studies that animal proteins are actually carcinogenic in the human body, and they also can cause so-called autoimmune diseases because they resemble the proteins of human tissues. So plant-based diet is superior to an animal-based diet because it lacks those harmful animal proteins. Let's move on. We need to combine grains and legumes in the same meal to ensure the intake of all amino acids in the same meal. No, this is a myth. It has been known that the body uses the proteins from the food and divides them into separate amino acids, and then picturesquely explained, put all those amino acids into so-called amino acid pool, from which the body takes amino acids as needed and combine them in different proteins as needed. So the body does all the work. We don't have to micromanage our diet and to try to get all the amino acids in the same meal. Is just not necessary. Moreover, it is important to know that cooking renders proteins toxic by creating crossed links in between amino acids, and those crossed links are resistant to our digestive enzymes, which means that our bodies cannot divide cooked proteins into separate amino acids, which in the long run can cause autoimmune diseases and arthritis. The best source of readily available amino acids are fresh, ripe fruits and vegetables. So let's move on. Macrobiotics is a diet of fermented grains and legumes. No, this is incorrect. Macrobiotics indeed has some fermented foods, but it is mostly composed of cooked grains, and thus it is a very unhealthy diet. The Mediterranean diet is the healthiest diet. No, this is incorrect. The healthiest diet would be the one that best suits anatomy and physiology of a human body, and that would be a diet of fresh fruits and vegetables with some nuts and seeds. The Mediterranean diet is definitely healthier than standard diet, but it's definitely not the healthiest diet out there. Olive oil is healthy. No, this is incorrect. Olive oil is unhealthy. All oils are toxic to endotheliums, inner walls of blood vessels. Moreover, oils are pure fat, and that's why they coat everything in the bloodstream and inhibit the work of insulin. Dietary fiber from fruits and vegetables maintain a constant level of insulin. This is correct. However, we have to add a very important component to this explanation, which would be the level of fats in a diet. Low fat levels, which are actually adequate levels of fat in a diet, help maintain the proper work of insulin, while high fat diets actually inhibit the work of insulin. Let's move on. Animal food is the only source of vitamin B12 and vitamin D. No, this is incorrect. Animal foods are second-rate sources of vitamin B12 and vitamin D, coupled with all the negative effects of animal proteins, cholesterol, fats, antibiotics, bacteria, and so on. Vitamin B12 is a product of bacteria, and vitamin D is a product of chemical reactions in between sun rays that penetrate the skin and bodily cholesterol. So let's move on. Taking vitamin D supplementation is okay. This is a very light-hearted and unprofessional statement to be given so easily. There are some studies that show toxic effects of supplements D. There is definitely a time and place to take supplement of vitamin D, but it is very unprofessional just to generalize this, and it can actually have negative consequences. Increased intake of omega-3 fatty acids should be provided. No, the solution to this problem of too much omega-6s in a standard diet in comparison to omega-3s should be corrected by decreasing the level of omega-6s. Most people are not deprived of omega-3s, but rather take too much omega-6s, and on a standard diet, the main source of omega-6s are oils and grain products. So let's move on. Good sources of omega-3 fatty acids are avocado, soy, and fish oil. No, this is incorrect. Avocado and soy are sources of omega-6s, while fish oil is a very toxic waste product of fish industry. It is toxic to the body as all oils, and it has a dangerously high level of omega-3s that can lead to brain bleeding. And it is also coupled with all the negative effects of consuming anything that comes from fish and all the toxic environment in which the fish live. Cooked grains and legumes are whole foods. No, this is incorrect. Technically, no cooked foods can be called whole because in the best scenario, they lack water and some vitamins. But what are cooked food deprived of is a very small problem in comparison to all the toxins that are created during the cooking process. So all of this was misinformation given by this nutritionist. Of course, she provided some very good, correct, and useful information as well. However, all this misinformation can have lots of negative consequences. For example, if during her presentation there was someone in the audience who was a promoter of a very dangerous keto diet, that person would have lots of opportunities just to stop the presentation and point out to false information and thus practically close the door to a plant-based diet. Then this title of nutritionist gives credibility that most people will just believe in without pausing and giving a second thought to whether the statements given by that nutritionist are correct or not. And all this misinformation is just a small fraction of consequences of all the incorrect teachings that are taught with my due respect at schools of nutrition. And with this, I don't want to criticize, I just want to encourage and offer improvement and upgrading and updating of teachings in the schools of nutrition. I hope that this video was useful to you and that I taught you how to analyze some statements given by an authority, for example, a nutritionist. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on that bell button so to get the notification about the future videos that I'm about to make for you, and comment down below because I love to hear from you. Until the next video, I'm sending you warm regards and keep glowing. Bye-bye. Comment and please click on that bell button beside the